So welcome everyone. We're going to start the session, even if one or two more people will turn up, probably in 5 or 10 minutes, that's okay. We have enough people to start practicing, start learning, start debating, because today's topic is about weight loss. It's one of the main issues that hypnotists see in their practices, or we see in our practices. So it's important to see the models. We have different models or different approaches that we can use. I like to use this meetup session to debate with all of you, to exchange opinions. I have seen over 100 people in the last 2 years for weight loss, but I'm sure that you have seen people too, or you have an idea about why people are overweight, why the people are, despite of knowing that there are bad food, that the more we eat, the more weight we can put on if we don't do exercise and if we don't drink water, and we all know the rules, what is happening with people, why they are not losing weight. So I like to debate with all of you and to hear your ideas. During this meetup, first of all, I will do just a brief introduction about all the issues that hypnotists see in their practice, and we will focus on weight loss. That will be the main issue today. That will be the first part, and you have an extensive handouts today that probably we will not see it all, but I always like to have prepared a handouts for 2 days, just in case. I don't know what to say, so I always have things to say for 2 days. And I like to practice too with all of you. Well, with people who have got training in hypnosis or hypnotherapy. So my first question for all of you, I like to ask you, we have 3 types of people here usually. People who are certified in hypnosis, people who are students, hypnosis students, and people who are interested in hypnosis. So I'm asking you that just people who are certified in hypnosis or hypnotherapy, people who are students currently, just to hypnotize other people. Just people who are here just because they have an interest in hypnosis, it's much better if you just receive the hypnosis and you participate as a subject of the session. All of you know that hypnosis is very safe, and it's just a deep state of relaxation. It's a state of the mind when you are just focused the attention on what the hypnotist is saying, and there is no risk at all. So that's just the first thing that I will ask you, please. After the introduction with the different methods of weight loss, we will do some practice. I have here a script that we call it the universal script, because it's a script, we call it, well, it's called like take the high road to success. That's a universal script that you can use nearly with any client. And it's a very simple script where you tell the person, basically you tell the client to imagine in time 1, 2 or 3 years, 1, 3 and 5 years ahead, if the person continues behaving or continues with the same habits, doing the same habits. So you just tell the person, imagine 1 year if you keep eating what you are doing, those same habits, 3 years, 5 years, and after we bring them back to current time, and we help them to imagine those people ahead having changed the behavior in 1 year ahead, 3 years ahead, 5 years ahead. You can use this script for any issue, always including the client's vocabulary. As we have seen in other meetups, it's important to pick the language pattern of our clients and to use their vocabulary. Okay, so that will be the first part of the handouts. And today I'm going to give you my point of view and my experience about hypnosis, but your experience could be different. So don't believe all what I'm going to tell you, because this is from what I have studied and from what I have learned in clients. You may have a different opinion, and I love to hear what is your approach. I'm going to give you some tools that I use, that I always use with my clients, and I think that they are very effective. We will see how we can divide a weight loss package for our clients, because in many cases people might believe that weight loss is like smoking, that with one session the people stop eating, and it doesn't happen in 99% of the cases. One weight loss session is not going to help much. In the other hand, with one session of hypnotherapy for smoking is really helpful. And it's very simple, because when you help someone to stop smoking, the person quit or doesn't quit, just one day. But if someone wants to lose weight, it's not going to lose 20 kilo or 40 pounds in one day. There is a process there, and we have to take that person along the process, to go with the person.
Is the smoking less addictive than the food, or is it? I would have thought giving up smoking would have been really hard.
Well,
you can't give up food, though, you see.
The thing is that, yes, exactly. No, that's a very good point. You can't give up food. Well, if you give up food, probably in 2 weeks you are done. But there are many more things that you have to see to help people to lose weight. It's not just someone who is convinced that wants to stop smoking, in one day is done and doesn't smoke anymore. But someone
it really surprised me with hypnosis that one day, you know, just I thought with smoking it would have been really difficult.
No.
I'm not a smoker, but I just, you know, I have friends who are smokers, and I was surprised when I was looking at hypnosis that one day.
And I like to hear that, because I think that I have the answer for you to be surprised. Now, the people who are smokers are very bad seen. It's not like 30 or 40 years ago, very bad seen, that they don't have very good image, that the society, there are a lot of advertising about the smoking, the damage of smoking, the packages with all those horrible images. So now the people are more aware about the dangers of smoking. With food, the people are not that aware. I think that still nowadays, the people don't believe that food is a drug, and food can be even more addictive than smoking. People, we will see today how they use food for everything, because they believe that it's harmless. And my experience is the opposite. When I see a client that wants to lose weight, what I see in front of me is someone completely devastated, with a self-esteem like this, that doesn't want to get naked in front of her husband or his wife, that doesn't want to go out. I'm not saying that could be the cause of depression, but what I see is consequences and results that could be much worse than smoking. The thing is that, I don't know why, the authorities don't really pay much attention on food as they have put. Okay, go ahead.
Well, the head of the FDA in America, for example, he resigned because he was so frustrated with the government is supposed to protect people from the big companies who sell food, and he said there's, food now is so palatable, they've made it like that, so it's addictive. It's like a drug. The head of the FDA in America said he resigned because he said the companies who make this food, they want you to be addicted to it. So the government gets a lot of tax, a lot of revenue generated.
That makes sense.
So they have no interest really in.
They don't.
And it's a very short-sighted view, because it's costing them a lot more money with the health problems.
That's the thing.
But
look at the tax on even on cigarettes, but it's costing so much,
exactly.
so it's like
It's funny though, there's a guy in Miller in England, and he sends me emails all the time, trying to get me to take a course, but he was saying that he was the people in McDonald's and places like that, to talk to people who are obese and regular customers, and how to talk to them. And he's got a job soon. I've got some sort of so talk to these people in language, that would be received kindly by the customers. He's a hypnotist, and he's a fairly Miller is his name. He's a fairly well known name over there. I found that quite interesting. And he specialises on weight loss. This guy.
And what's the name of the person?
Miller. I forget his first name.
Okay, I researched on the internet. I don't know.
I did I'm not very good on the computer, but I did one of these. Joined one of his sessions on the computer one time, and since then course, like, I get the emails day in, day out, day
Yes,
out.
yes,
So
all the
spend
email
money
marketing.
on that, so I don't really want to spend the money.
Yes.
His marketing, it just goes on and on. But he comes across with some very interesting ideas.
Yeah, and the thing is that people are becoming more aware, and even now you compare the society with 10 years ago, you can see some restaurants where you even see the calories of the products. Didn't happen 10 years ago, so there are improvements, and probably in 30 years ahead, probably food, there will be much more control than there is now, because in the past the smoking industry had a lot of power, but with the time the pressure of the society has changed that. But I'm guessing that that's what's going to happen.
Less people smoke.
Yes.
I don't know, I think.
I think that.
If you're at college and all the kids coming out all smoke, you're standing there, they're just all smoking. All of my
At
friends.
least,
Figures show that less people are smoking.
at least the people know that it's not that cool to smoke as it was in the past with the images of
Younger
the.
people are still smoking.
Still cool.
But just, yeah.
Yeah.
Cities like that, of course.
And anyway, well, that was just a first idea about what can be that addictive. And I'd like to ask you, just what are the main issues that you think that a hypnotist sees in their practice? Just tell me top 5 or top 7 issues that we see in our practice. What would you say? Okay. Phobias. What else can we help?
Self-esteem.
Self-esteem. The main issues.
Yeah, smoking and
Weight loss.
Wait.
I suppose confidence is another one.
It's just self-esteem. Yeah.
You are forgetting one very important.
Fears, negativity.
Yeah, well, that's fears, phobias,
Insomnia.
insomnia. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Stress.
Which one?
Stress.
Yeah, stress and anxiety.
Can hypnotherapists treat depression then?
Which one?
Can it treat depression then? Hypnotherapy, is it, can it, treat if somebody's suffering with
Depression.
Yeah.
But we don't work with depression. We don't work with the label. We work with what the person would like to achieve. So if the person is feeling down, I like to increase my self-esteem, because a person who is
If
depressed,
somebody came and were bipolar, can you treat them then, or?
you will need, well, at least in my case, even if legally you could do it, I wouldn't recommend you to do it. It would be better to team up with the GP, with the doctor, and to see how you can, to ask the doctor how you can help the patient.
If they came and they, obviously this is an area that, you have to be very careful. If they came and they didn't know they were bipolar, because that label seems to be used so much, but you suspect that they were, you also just refer them back to the doctors that are, even obviously you suggest that they go back to a doctor if you can refer them.
Yes, the thing is that if we don't know if someone is bipolar or hasn't told us, for that reason the intake form is important to ask if there is any mental issue or something, just in case.
Yeah.
Even with epileptics, we shouldn't work with epileptics or bipolars, schizophrenics.
Why does it not work with epilepsy? Sorry, I'm asking. Why does it not work with epilepsy?
Why?
Yeah.
Because the person could have an attack in the clinic, and we are not prepared to deal with someone who is having, unless you are a nurse, a certified nurse, or someone who has the knowledge to deal with someone having an attack.
So if someone had epilepsy, you shouldn't take them on supply?
No, you shouldn't.
Sometimes diabetes, isn't it?
Diabetes, okay, depending on what level of diabetes and what are how the person is feeling, but usually it should be okay. The best thing is just to get an extensive intake form to know if there is any mental issue that will be better to refer out. But with depression, we can work. But no, we don't work with depression with that word. we want, if someone is feeling a little bit down and doesn't want to get up of his bed, how can we help the person to feel more motivated? How can we help the person to increase the levels of energy? Those kind of things is where we can help. We are not going to eliminate depression. We can do that, and nobody can do that. But we can help the person to have the tools to feel more confident, to go out. Those moments when doesn't want to do anything, just to have a positive thoughts. There is where we could help. Okay.
But it's more surely not to treat anybody on psychotic medication.
To work with psychotics.
Well, you shouldn't go near anybody with psychotic.
No.
Psychotic medication.
No, because.
So if somebody says they're depressed, comes in and says they're depressed, and you question them, and if they're not on psychotic medication, there is no problem, treat them perhaps for negative thoughts, for to be more positive, to be more confident, to be more outgoing, to be more relaxed, more relaxed, all that sort of thing. There's no harm in that.
Yes, in those kind of cases we could do it, but it's important to know what kind of diagnosis the person has had. Yeah. So if it's depression and is having a high medication,
if he's on depression, I would reverse the way.
We have to know what kind of medication.
You can catch him before he has medication. You can do something.
Okay, we can do anything in that case if we don't know the person needs medication and the person is not taking medication. We can't do anything. So we will work always to help feel more relaxed or wherever. No, yes, you can.
You can.
Yes.
You probably should say to them to go back to their therapist or whatever as well. So.
It would be better to contact the doctor and to ask, to tell the doctor to give I give a kind of referral form. So ask your GP to bring me sign up this form, just to avoid responsibility and to team up with the doctor. I'm really interested in teaming up with GPs and to work together. I believe that collaboration with other professionals is much better than just working on our own and doing all our own. So I always recommend to tell the person to tell their psychologist, their psychiatrist, whoever that are working with us, and even talk by phone to them. That's the best thing, and to promote our profession. If we really believe this and we really want to make this a mainstream profession, we have to work with the mainstream profession and be professionals at the same time.
So referral form or something, different referral form or whatever, for them to, because often they can come back and say, well, I've talked to, the therapist or whatever, but they may not have been,
Okay, I always recommend to have.
Be worried like that they, just that they,
No, the thing, okay, legally in Ireland you can work. There is no a legal requirement that you cannot work with someone who has depression or is a bipolar, because it's not regulated. We are self-regulated. However, we need to be professionals, and we need to aim for regulation for our profession too. And the way to do that is just to contact doctors, to talk to them. The other day there was a guy came to see me with depression, but he has depression, but he has many other issues, and his doctor has told him not to see a hypnotist, not to get hypnotized, because if his brain waves goes very low, he could get into a coma state, because in the past he had a car accident and his brain sometimes went off, so he was like dead even if he wasn't dead. His brain waves were very low. So as soon as he told me that, I told the guy, look, I'm sorry, I cannot work with you. If your GP is telling that you shouldn't work with a hypnotist, why should I work with that person? First of all is to see what the GP or the doctor say. That will be the main thing, and after is when we can help. If there is nothing organic, if we can team up with the GPs, I think that the best thing we can do to help the profession.
So they have to be honest on the intake form. That's really essential that but obviously you could get somebody who probably just wouldn't want to tell you that, that information, and then something could happen.
But we can't do anything in that case.
It's just obviously that's something.
One of the good things is before you hypnotise somebody is to ask them, can I have my permission to hypnotise you?
You have consent form, I presume, if they fill out consent form.
Yeah, but if you ask them as well, that's...
We usually have 2 consent forms. They can give us consent verbally, but that's probably not very useful if we want to show someone or if there is any legal problem. So we always have the consent form from the GP, not always, sometimes, and always from our client, that just telling them that we are not medical doctors, that we are not treating the diagnosing and those kind of things. Okay, so.
Can I just say, isn't it funny that GPs, for example, and doctors, you know, in the conventional medical approach, medical model, all that, they don't recognise that with hypnosis, that when a person has a problem, whether it's depression, now other things like this diet is involved as well, and genetics, etc. But that a lot of the problems are caused by the bad programs that the person has. Well, I call programs, where I studied, it's called programming. And hypnosis is a word that's been used since the 1800s, so it's a more modern version of the word is programming. But we're all programmed, and we've good ones and bad ones. And someone who's having a lot of problems has more bad ones. Or they're more focused on that. So you can give them some good programs, or hypnotherapy, whatever you want to call it, good programs, and that really helps them.
We can help a lot. The thing is that hypnosis can be in anyone's hands because it's self-regulated.
Because we're all already hypnotized anyway.
We are. We are. Yeah, exactly. So, no, even. Okay, let's focus on weight loss because we're going to start just wandering away and we're going to go too far. All right. So, I say from my experience, this is number one of issues that the people come to see me. This, in my case, has been number two. And this is probably number three. Most people know hypnosis and hypnotherapy that can help with smoking and weight loss. I don't know why the people don't come to see me with smoking, not as much as I would like. However, a lot of people call me for weight loss. It's true that I have been promoting myself more to help people to weight loss, so probably there is something to do there. And the thing is that, think about something. All the statistics are saying that there are more obese people in Ireland, in UK, in the States. The number of obese people, overweight people, are growing. The statistics say that 66% of adult Irish are overweight or obese. 66% of Irish adults between 24 and 65 or 66 years old. 11% of teenagers between 11 and 17 years old are overweight or obese. Now I'm going to ask you, tell me all the options that the people have to lose weight. Imagine that someone is overweight or obese. How can that person lose weight? Options.
Diet.
Okay, diet. Calorie control will be included probably in diet, isn't it? Okay, low calorie diet.
Exercise.
Exercising. Okay. I'm thinking more about things in the market that the people can get to lose weight.
Smoking.
Smoking?
Yeah.
To lose weight? To buy cigarettes, you mean?
Oh, just for smoking.
But that's not a very conventional way. The people.
It's a way.
Okay. Okay. So, well, there are some people. That's the problem with, especially with women, that they don't want to quit smoking. For that reason, it's more difficult to help women to quit smoking.
You generally burn about 300 extra calories a day when you're smoking. It increases your metabolism by about 300.
How did you quit smoking? How did you do it?
Hypnosis.
With hypnosis?
Yeah. Self-hypnosis.
Okay, self-hypnosis. Because usually with hypnosis, you shouldn't have cravings or gain weight. So.
Like I gained weight.
Yeah, for that reason, but usually it doesn't happen. If they give you, the hypnotist gives you the right suggestions, you shouldn't have cravings or...
No, I didn't for 5 or 6 months, but I own a restaurant, so...
Okay, so now you have another challenge in your life. Okay.
You sometimes have to replace the comfort. If you're not addicted to the food, you might get rid of the cravings. But if you've had my break from the work, my whatever it is,
My reward.
Yeah, your reward, you have to replace it with something.
Comfort drink.
That's why I think some people eat after giving smoke.
That's one of the reasons, and we're going to see, all of us, we're going to say all the reasons why the people are overweight. Because that's one of the reasons, and it's a very important reason, that emotional issue. But before going there, I'd like to ask you all the options. We are, as a hypnotist, we are another option. But I'd like to ask you.
Surgery.
Surgery, okay, very good. What else?
Drugs.
Cigarettes, drugs, what's going on in this group? Okay.
Change the modality.
Which one?
Change the modalities or the perception for the food of choice.
Okay, change the modality. So that will be something that you cannot find in the market. That's something that you will have to do on your own, isn't it? Okay, that will be an option. And that will be more or less like exercising. That's something that you can do on your own, probably. But if you need help, what are the options that the people have?
Stop eating at 6 o'clock or something like that. A plan for your day, stop eating.
But that's something that you do on your own. It's something that you just go to the internet, you just...
So just to go back to that one, the hypnotist would have to guide somebody through the modality change, through the feeling associated with the particular food. That's not something they could do on their own, unless they had that skill set. But
that's more difficult. To do it on your own is more difficult. It can be done, but for that reason, we have that option that you are saying, to hire a hypnotist to help you to change the modality or to deal with those underlying emotional issues that might be making you to eat more than your body will need. So let's say hypnosis. And what I'm feeling now, when I'm asking you this question, that I don't know if it's that you are lacking ideas or there are many options in the market.
There's motivation.
Okay, Weight Watchers, that's a... So that will be related to diet, more or less. Weight Watchers. Okay, and do you realize that there are no really options for people to lose weight? That every day the statistics are growing. People more obese, more overweight. What happened with diets? That diets usually don't work. Because when the people are dieting, they are focusing on food more than if they are not dieting. Yeah. And that's one of the problems. Usually when someone is dieting, has a date in their mind. Okay, I want to lose weight for my son's wedding. Well, that's a case that you will see in most of clients, especially women, when they come to see you for weight loss. It's unbelievable. No, I want to lose weight for my daughter's wedding. That's unreal. What happens with diets is that when someone cannot eat something, is going to be thinking about that all the time. It's going to have cravings all the time, and it's a suffering. So the people are going to be suffering all the time that cannot eat all the time. This until one moment, there is one day that they lose.
Reinforcing, they, when they're denying themselves, they're actually reinforcing the.
Yeah, because you are thinking all the time about what you cannot eat. Therefore, you are thinking all the time about food. So it's a kind of a nonsense. So this is one of the options, and probably the most popular. Go onto into a diet. That is a long term. Statistics say that over 90%, about 90% of people who go onto a diet, they put back all the weight, and even they put more weight than they wanted to lose. The next one. Let's include exercising and Weight Watchers. Weight Watcher will be a diet, and exercising like something that is needed to do to lose weight, but it's something that you don't really need help. You just need willpower and maybe a hypnotist to give you the right suggestion. So let's jump into that one, surgery. Usually there is a waiting list for getting the gastric band surgery done. There are complications, there are side effects after the operation. You need to meet some requirements. You need to weigh, I don't know, it's over 50 or 60 kilo or 80 pounds to qualify for this operation. It's expensive. And what is funny is that it's not effective 100%. There are many cases that they put all the weight back on again. And the reason is because this doesn't deal with the emotional issues, with the psychological reasons of the person to lose weight. So someone who is not ready to have a thin body suddenly finds that cannot eat and has an addiction to food. So how can that person deal with food? Some people, what they do is they put pizza and burgers in liquidizers, and they drink pizzas and burger. And it's disgusting, but someone who is addicted to food can do it. For that.
Saying all that, I wasn't going to this, but the big thing with weight loss, sorry?
But you are.
Yes, but yeah, I can't resist saying it, because the big thing with weight, I know people who work in this area, and the big thing with weight loss is, or with weight gain, and why it's much higher now as going along, is because the type of food that people are eating. And the biggest problem is not the fats or the sugars, but the lack of protein in the diet, as well as the sugars, more than the fats eaten. So when people don't eat enough protein, they lose solid tissue, and solid tissue burns fat. 1 pound of solid tissue burns 50 calories, even when you're sitting and doing nothing. And you can eat more without putting on weight. But also, if you lack protein, you crave food more.
The sugar levels drop, don't they?
Yeah, it makes you more solid and stronger physically and mentally, because your brain is made of proteins and all. So that's a big factor.
Thank you for telling me.
That's a big factor that doesn't get looked at really, lack of protein.
I'm not an expert in nutrition.
And also the bad calories, because they're not equal. Some calories are more fattening.
I think it's the hidden sugars, like
Yeah,
like you said, people in cornflakes, there's so much sugar in cornflakes and salt that people don't realise, but then that's to be regulated by the government, you know.
The thing is that there are calories that are bad, there is fat that is bad, saturated and all that. But you have the choice.
White bread is much more fattened than brown bread, for example. It turns into sugar.
But don't you have the choice to, more or less, I'm not an expert in nutrition, and I know I eat nearly everything, and I know what is good and what is not that good. I know that if I order one night takeaway, the day after I shouldn't order again, because my metabolism is working hard just to burn all the calories, all the fat. So I think that is common sense that most people should have.
People are confused about what food is healthy and isn't.
Yeah, but I think that it's more common sense to get that balance.
Can be, too much carbohydrates, for example.
Yes. So I think that as a hypnotist, we should learn a little bit about nutrition, but it's not our profession. Our profession is more working with the mind. To have the basic knowledge, probably the nutrition, if we had to say something.
When you were listing options for, that's the number one that gets results. I've seen them, they've done studies and research.
So do you think that people get results with that kind of?
Knowing more about nutrition is what you're saying, rather than just dieting. Knowing more about what you do need.
More protein, basically.
But people didn't give up cigarettes years ago because they didn't think they were killing them. So education encourages them and motivates them to give them up. Education will motivate people with diet, as well as other emotional issues.
But
if they're targeted.
That's a big debate. It's like, okay, education, does it help the people to get into the habit? Because sometimes the more you know the thing that something is done.
It does get them thinking. They might need some extra help or additional help, like what we can provide in a hypnosis session to get to other areas that need addressing. But I think it helps. I think if your conscious mind knows, okay, the subconscious will always take over and control it until we get to that part. But I think it makes it easier if you are educated and go along the right path.
Well, 100% agree. Education always makes a difference, I think. But if we had to educate, to teach all the things that should be taught at the school, we will need 15 hours a day. And I think that our education, this is just...
Nutrition, you come to you when you want to have the motivation to apply it.
Well, still education nowadays, I think that is still old-fashioned. I think that we are still stuck in the old times and new subjects will be included. But I always support education. But how many people know what they should eat and they are not doing it?
They wouldn't be doing all the If they don't know, they can go to a nutritionist. If they want hypnosis, it's because they do know.
A lot of people would know.
If you look at the Andy, anyone heard of the Andy index, that what's the most nutritional food you can eat in terms of the amount of that you can eat to get the most nutritional value out of it. Top of the scale is kale and the bottom of the scale is oil. There's no nutritional value in oil, yet it's full of energy, but no nutritional value. And then right up at the top is kale. Meats are down around 20 points, where kale is up at 1,000. You know, there's those things when you start reading them to see what the scale of nutritional value are, that it also, I think, helps in the back door. I know where you're coming from here, but like small little bits of education just to actually see straight in front of you, ear to ear.
Yeah, I have friends now, and they will be, you know, overweight, and they just want to lose the weight. They just don't want to know, but you know, they do have bad.
But if you,
but habits.
They do, and you'd say to them, well, you know, if you're eating burgers.
Well, if you like bok choy or something like that, and you know you can eat as much as you want of it, and you like it, well, you know, you're going to go that direction when you next do your shop, instead of going for white rice or whatever.
I'm vegetarian, and I would eat very healthy, you know, because I guess in trouble my diet is extremely good, but they wouldn't, they'd still go for the burgers and chips and things. And
It's
there's
the
nothing wrong with
difference
that.
between a logic that's dealing with the conscious and emotion that gets in the back door, and the emotion takes over, and they don't know why, but they've gone to the burger.
It's the easy thing, like.
But it's something that a need is telling them that they need.
People don't
They're
realise
not even
that the
thinking.
most
I don't
fattening
even.
things-
The thinking is shut down.
Yeah.
Two most fattening things are crisps and fizzy drinks. They're the most fattening things.
but you know what,
Fizzy drinks
people,
are-
if you talk to anybody, you say anybody who's overweight or whatever, they basically, most people know
It's
what
a
they're eating wrong,
It's
and
a
they're
multi-
eating
Yeah,
at night,
yeah,
and they're doing.
you know,
Most people know,
Yeah.
and they want to not to do. They come in to see
But
you.
it's kind of going,
to-
well,
because
you know,
they don't want to do
it's
that
there,
anymore.
yeah.
And they know they eat, they sit down and they veg in front of the television, or they eat crisps and they eat,
Mm.
you know, drink fizzy drinks, as you say. And in this, like most people do know that there's loads of hidden sugars and all
It's
that
just,
sort
they
of
give
thing.
up bad habits.
They've
and that's
tried
it.
and they can't lose weight even though they've gone on a diet.
Yes, but they know what they're doing wrong. Most of them know, they know that they're just sitting there.
I'm not sure about Ken. A lot of them buy Diet Coke, so big a lot of them buy Diet Coke, so they're somewhere there.
Yeah, but
They're thinking they're doing the right
But as
thing.
you
Or
talk to
Special
them-
K, or low-fat yogurts. You know, when all the
Yeah,
sugar
yeah.
that's in those.
But as you talk to them when they come into you and you say, well, what do you eat? You know, what do you eat for breakfast? What do you eat for lunch? What do you eat for a tea? And then what do you eat in the evening? And what is your day like? You know, do you have breakfast every day? And then then you just say, well, look, you should have breakfast because it's the most important thing of the day. And you know, and do you eat cereals? Well, you know, you can teach them that stuff.
Yeah, what we have seen is that diets don't work. People know what they should do, and people are not following what they should do. So what is the reason why people are not following what they should do?
My partner lost 4 stone, and he, you know, like I said, I'm vegetarian, and he eats like the food I eat now. Got him name. He just knows it's a choice. He kind of looks and things up here. Will I have the jelly babies, or will I have natural yogurt with fruit? You know, and he'd be there, and I always leave it up to him, and he'll actually end up having natural yogurt with fruit. And he said to me, it's actually quite easy now, you know, which I find funny. But I mean, it's just a choice. He knows.
Yeah.
Before he met me, he knew he'd know those jelly babies.
Listened to Paul McKenna a few days ago, and you know his 4 rules, you know, the famous hypnotist.
And what did he do?
His rules.
Please.
No, sorry, I just heard Paul McKenna on an interview the other day, and I totally agree with everyone said. I think it's obviously good to eat healthily and educate yourself. But his 4 rules, and he said it's like it's been massively successful. And he said, I'll tell you what they are, but he's obviously got a lot more information on if you want to read up on it. But he just said, eat what you want, eat when you want. And he said, everyone say you're absolutely bonkers. He said, but in the 2 next rules are the important ones. Slow down. He says you have to slow down by about a quarter of what you're eating. He says it seems a bit weird at first. He says put your knife and fork down after every mouthful. If you're eating a sandwich, take it out of your mouth, put it down, take your hands off it. And the minute you think you're full, stop eating. And he said, and people are, if it means throwing the food in the bin, he said if you follow those 4 rules, he said he's had friends lose 4 stone, 5 stone, whatever. He said you'll never have any problems.
Sometimes small changes make a big difference.
Yes.
And what you are saying is very interesting, because that are part of the rules of the hypnotic gastric band. We will talk about how the hypnosis gastric band works, because that includes those rules that you have said. There are when we work, okay, have you heard about, the gastric band? Obviously, you know how it works. We were talking about all the negative things. And now we have the hypnotic gastric band. And how it works is very simple. We help the person, or we convince the person that a gastric band has been fitted on top of the stomach. But the thing is, this is just a metaphor. With hypnosis gastric band, we help the person to feel full faster. Just through suggestions, we do exactly the same than the doctors will do in a hospital, but only with their imagination. We help the people to believe that a gastric band has been fitted on top of the stomach, but that looks very simple, and it's not just as simple as that. Because in the same way that we do the operation, in my practice, I put the sounds, I have doctors talking, sounds of the hospital, I have a smell, everything just to enhance the experience. We have to tell the people to follow a post-operation. Is it called post-operation? The post-operation are the rules. What was your name, sorry?
Brandon.
Brandon, that the rules that Brandon and Paul McKenna were talking about. Those rules that we call them post-operation. After the hypnotic operation, we tell the people, look, in the same way, when you are in a hospital, the surgeon and the doctor will tell you that you have to eat slower. You have to chew your food 20 or 25 times. If you like meat, 27, 30 times. You have to put your forks down. You have to put your sandwich, if you are eating with your food, you have to put your sandwich down. You have to concentrate on your food. You cannot watch TV while you are eating. What else do we say?
He says to pretend you're a French chef, you really enjoy the food, you know, concentrate, you really savor it.
Exactly, because sometimes we are not eating with mindfulness. Yeah. When we are eating, we are watching TV, we are with our mobile phone, with the computer, newspaper, and thus you are distracted, we are distracted from the food. And distraction actually is one of the techniques we use for pain control. When you go to a dentist, the dentist, well, if a dentist should do it, might give you some headphones with music, or might tell you something to focus on something different to what he is doing there. What he is doing is to distract our attention away from the pain. Because as we have seen, pain is a perception. That if you just feel pain here and you start thinking about something else, you might forget about pain for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. So when we are eating and we are doing many other things, we don't feel the pain in our tummy when we are full. So it's important to eat with mindfulness, to know what we are eating, to chew the food, to taste the food, to bite slowly, to put down the forks. And that's what we call in the hypnotic gastric band the post-operation. After the operation, the person will get a CD plus a kind of handouts to follow all these rules. We call them, in my program, the golden rules. That is like an analogy, it's like a metaphor to compare with the physical gastric band. It's a very powerful program. And maybe, well, now that we are talking about it, it was planned to talk about it a little bit later, but that's something quite effective. And, well, the results from some people are amazing. I remember when I started about 2 years ago, I have seen over probably 70 or 80 people. I have installed the gastric band, the hypnotic gastric band. And it was like, okay, I'm going to see this work. I downloaded some scripts from the internet. I got some training on the internet. And I was a little bit skeptic. I don't know how this is going to work. And the reaction from the people after installing the hypnotic gastric band was, they were saying things like, I don't know why, but I cannot eat even half of the food that I was eating. I feel full much faster. I can visualize, because what we do is to help the person visualize a golf ball on top of the stomach, as if it was the size of the new stomach. So the people just visualizing that golf ball are able to see the food on the plate and to know, okay, what is the food that my new stomach can have. And the people, some people will stop just when they have the visualization in their mind that this is the size of the golf ball and that's all what they could eat. So it's a kind of amazing just to see
Sorry, I have to ask you, does that mean they eat less calories a day?
less amount of food and therefore less calories too.
Because if you go on less food, if you reduce your calories under, I forget it, 2,000 calories a day, you actually lose protein and you slow your metabolism.
We can tell the person to take some multivitamins. If the person is losing, I have had one person.
No, the reason their metabolism slows is because they lose protein and because they're eating less food. So,
Don't you have to,
And what is?
at some stage, take less food? Don't you have to get the balance right?
no, there's a 2,000 calories a day you're meant to.
Yeah, but if somebody's taking 3,000 or 4,000,
Yeah,
because
that's
there's
different, but I'm just saying for
Well, there are.
how little does it reduce the amount that person will be eating the gastric, because their stomach
Because
is made very small, isn't it? With the like, I mean, in the actual surgery, it makes the stomach very small. isn't it?
and how do you think that those people live after the operation?
I don't
Just
know.
having less.
I'm wondering, like,
It
'cause
gets adjusted. If they're going down in the floor, they can make it bigger, and you can with the hypnotic script as well, make the pouch
the
bigger.
long-term effects on their health, I'm wondering, from eating very little food.
Well, they'd fit in a smaller
It's
coffin.
not people
They're going to
who
die.
are not at risk of eating too little.
Yeah, I think it's just trying to get down to a
Yeah.
normal kind of diet, isn't it, level? Because they're up to eating excessively.
They're not eating
just
the
2,000
least
calories
of
a
their
day.
worries are that
They're
they're
usually-
this isn't going to make them magically go to nothing. It's to help them get on track.
But sorry, it's not a valid question. Is it not a possibility that you could get somebody undernourished and eating too little? I mean, it's a valid question. I mean, I don't know the answer.
Somebody came to you was
There are
like tiny and they wanted to lose weight, you kind of go, magically you don't
That's more difficult. If
Yeah,
someone
obviously there's a
is
different
easier,
problem there.
yeah, the bigger the person is, the easier it is to lose weight.
Am I right in thinking that the gastric band is part of a program of 6 sessions, and there's a follow-up session or 2 after they put it in, so you get to see them again?
Yeah,
It's not like you come in and off you go.
It's not like the smoking in one section.
No.
There's also the theory that the person that presents for weight loss isn't there for weight loss at all. There are other issues going on, and when they get to the crux of that, you've just got them into better habits.
and with the gastric band, we don't work just with the physical part of the body. We work with the mind too, because after the second session, we see what are the emotional issues that are making the people eat or overeat. So this is a kind of a metaphor that we use with the people. Some people are very effective because they really believe that their stomach is okay. Consciously, they know that they don't have any physical thing in their tummy. However, their body behaves as if something was there, and they think that they have to eat less. They visualize how is the size of the stomach. So it's like the conscious and the subconscious mind. Consciously, you know that the physical gastric band is not there, but subconsciously your body behaves as if it was there. And an example that I can give you, probably you have seen in hypnosis shows, someone that cannot see a chair, that you put a chair and the hypnotist gives the suggestion and now the chair disappears. And the person cannot see, and the person believes that the chair is not there. So I don't know if any of you have been before hypnotized in a hypnosis show. Has any of you been hypnotized in a hypnosis show? In a hypnosis show. Okay. Has any of you had a hypnotic phenomena like hallucination, seen something that wasn't there or something like that? Usually that's more for shows. That's what we do in shows. And what happened with this is that the people consciously knows that there is a chair there, but subconsciously cannot see the chair there. And the person is real that cannot see that the chair is there. However, even if the person, if you tell the person to go through that chair, because if there is no chair there, If the person believes that there is no a chair there, the person should go through the chair. However, what they do, and this is 100% as it happens, if you ask the person who is hypnotized, cannot see the chair, there is no chair, but the person is going to do this. However, it's not going to see the chair, it's going to be like this. So that's what we call logic trance, that consciously you know that, okay, the chair is there, but subconsciously you don't know that it's there. So with the gastric band, it's something similar. You know consciously that there is no gastric band there, but your body behaves as if it was there. So this is a very interesting program. And now, let's come back to this, drugs. What do you think about drugs for weight loss? Have you had any experience? Any family member, any friend? And was it effective?
Friends who've taken the diet pills, whatever you know. Like they've got good results with it, but I think it's a crazy way to do it.
And
It's
so,
been very popular, the diet pills.
and was it effective for them?
Short term, you have to mean because they've got back eating kind of the wrong foods. And I think they depended too on the diet pills. They were like these magic pills and.
It'd be interesting to see how much of it is placebo and what's actually in the pills.
Yeah, that's what it.
It'd
Yeah,
be really
exactly.
interesting to know.
There's stuff you absorb in fat or something that those pills.
And they could tell you that, and then your body or mind believes that.
But if
Yeah,
it stops you
that's what
absorbing
it
fat,
is.
then you'll have problems because you need to absorb a certain amount of fat.
And can I ask you, Susan, what is your profession?
I'm a yoga teacher and I'm studying psychotherapy and nutrition.
And all the information that you know, because I'm not an...
Holistic medicine, basically.
Okay, so you studied a little bit of nutrition.
Well, 6 years of diploma course in psychotherapy.
Okay.
Holistic medicine, yeah.
Because for me, all the information that is more technical about what is included in the pills and all that, I'm a little bit lost
Well,
about
that's
that.
not correct, though. It's an ad on the telly for it, like, and it's just, it says it stops you absorbing fat.
But again, it might not.
That's not
You saw Darren Brown saying that you take this pill and you're not going to be scared anymore.
Well, that's what
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, yeah, so
Yeah,
it
that's
could
what I
be
think with
exactly.
my friends because they're like these are magic pills, and I would say to my friends, it's all up here with you because
We don't know.
Well,
yeah. And once they take the pills for a period of time, they wait, and then once they stop taking the pills, it goes back on again. But I think it's psychological.
we always can work with the fantastic placebo effect.
I
That
think it
there are
is.
always, well, painkillers, they all have placebo effects, and that's very powerful. And we hypnotists work with the placebo effect, so we have to acknowledge that too. But that's okay if the people heal with. I'm not saying that hypnosis is placebo effect, but I'm saying that we can work with that in our favor and in a favor of the client. Okay, so now the options we have, or a person has to lose weight: dieting, surgery, gastric band, and drugs. Usually not very effective or not effective at all from my point of view. People lose weight and put it back. So not good. Drugs, usually they are short term too. Surgery, well, if someone wants to go into all the process, to go into the waiting list, to get that operation done, you have to come back to get the gastric band adjusted quite often. There are complications and doesn't deal with the psychological issues, but it can work. Probably, I believe that it's more effective than diet and drugs. So if there are so many people, 61% of adult population in Ireland are overweight or obese, what are the options? There are no options. So 61% of Irish population. It's a statistic from 2011, a report you can check on the internet. So the thing is that the number of people are growing, but the methods and the options to lose weight are not growing the same level than the number of people. So people really need our help here. And it's not about selling hypnosis, that obviously I'm going to promote hypnosis. It's about helping people because the people need different options. We are going to see now that we were talking before, and Anne was saying about that emotional part. What are the reasons that you think why the people are overweight. Okay. Why the people are obese or overweight? You can, ideas, any ideas? Comfort eating?
Too much processed food.
They eat too much.
They like food.
Yeah, I agree. That's
Okay, I'm going to rephrase.
Modern living has caught up a lot quicker than that evolution. You know, we didn't have cars to go everywhere 20 years ago. 30 years ago. We evolved very slowly, and then suddenly modern living. So our diets, my diet pretty much has stayed the same for 30 years, but I'm sitting on my ass a lot more.
Okay, so if there are more carbohydrates, and usually we know that we shouldn't take much carbohydrates if we don't burn them because they turn into fat. Why do you think that the people are eating so much carbohydrates?
Again, it's modern society and meat is available.
Okay, so education, maybe, society, you think?
I do think like the media and that there's a lot of pressure on, I think women in particular, probably men a lot more now as well, you know, to look a certain way. So I think women can beat themselves up and then overeat, and it's a guilt thing.
If I can't be a supermodel, I won't
Yeah.
go to the other extreme.
Yeah, and then it's you know, it's not realistic, you know.
Okay.
So then it kind of, it's a vicious circle, then they overeat and then it's, you know, so I think like that.
I think the availability of
Processed.
really what appeals to us. I mean, if you eat natural food, you're used to it. But if you start eating highly processed, highly flavoured foods, they build up a craving for more of it. It's almost like if you live anything in high intensity, you can't go back to the calm. So
Okay.
I think if you get, because of the availability of highly flavoured, easily to access foods.
I'm-
And it's almost like we build an addiction to them, and they're so available.
But it's been designed that way.
Yeah, but whatever the reason, I think that's the.
I think somebody said second one is the word that did experiments in mice and discovered that the combination of fats and sugar was highly addictive. So the whole food industry have made these things addictive, like crisps and that type of stuff.
And also, I think that
Advertising.
coupled with that is the fact that we live in an era where we all expect to be comfortable, pleasure ourselves. You know, people go out to eat a lot more. With a high, certainly with the County Tiger, we have it. We've lost a bit of it, but there's a higher expectation to have nice stuff to do. And if you're tired after a day's work, we'll say it's a very easy pleasure, eating. It's the easy pleasure when you want, even for stimulation, it's easier, an immediate stimulation of pleasure without having to make the effort to get it.
Does it not become habit though from what we're doing to our kids? Like they're bringing them to school in the cars.
Yeah.
Like which of us did that?
Yeah.
So we're passing it on even worse. Like we're
The reward, the easy
You
reward.
can see with the children, you know, the children are much heavier than that.
And
You
rather
really
than
can see
having
with
celebrating everything with food. You know, oh, we're going out for dinner because, or we're having a drink because, or I've been really good all day. I think I deserve a little drink. We seem to focus on that.
Okay.
But hit me, I know all about it. I need far too much.
WALLE. It's a
Oh,
little
the
little
bell.
robot, and in it the characters forgot how to walk
right.
because they were fed in food. was
So we
made of-
forget how
No,
to
that's
eat
simple,
proper
isn't it?
food.
Futuristic,
Yeah.
That's right.
It's frightening.
That's the summary of
Quality.
Oh, yeah, I know.
What's that, the robot one or something?
Usually we are reprogrammed to eat everything on the plate. Usually the education that we have received from our parents and our parents from their parents is that we have to eat everything that is on the plate. No matter if you are hungry or you are not hungry. What is important is just to finish it all. In the past, many people suffered starvation. In the bad times, in the old times, there were people who couldn't eat as much as they wanted. Maybe they ate for one day and they didn't know if the day after they have food. So as soon as they found food to eat, they ate it all, just in case they couldn't eat the day after. Nowadays, we got that in heritage. We are still behaving in the same way. Let's eat now, just in case. Subconsciously, we are thinking the same. First, I had to eat everything that is on the plate. It's not good just to throw food down in the bin. It's not good just to give it away. And what are we doing? We're putting it into our tummy, into our stomach.
Rita, my wife says, wasted in the bin or wasted here.
Exactly.
But you don't put it on the plate. I don't like wasting food either, but you don't have to put it on the plate.
It's a waste, it's just a play.
Exactly, but that's...
Well, when I did the training, the introduction first of all to the weight loss session was to ask the client, how big do you think your stomach is? And suggest to them it's as big as your fist. And how many times would your fist, would that food go on the plate? And so, again, to limit your portions, and to control your portions. Because you get a woman that should have a small, like something,
yeah.
perception.
Those little tricks can help. So that's behavior modification. Those little things can help someone a lot. Just paying attention a little bit, doing little things can help a lot.
I tried a little experiment for myself the other day. I was in the house and I was on my own eating. And the way I would have been raised, and it's only about the rest of you, when I have the knife and fork in my hand, I put a piece of meat, a piece of potato, a piece of veg and everything, and I put it in my mouth. And my mouth was full and I want to get rid of it, so I swallowed it. And I haven't chewed it. So then I thought, well, I'm going to play with this, so I just eat the potato on its own. And I could taste the potato. And then I would eat a carrot on its own and I could taste the carrot. But when it's all in one lump, I can't taste anything, I just have to swallow. And it just becomes a factory. Yeah, and that's
so that's
the next day, but I just said I try it, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a trick. And another trick, just eating a smaller portion, just chewing the food.
Yeah.
So there are many things that can be done. However, it's important to deal always with the emotional issue that might happen. I hear always, every day, the same thing. I'm eating as a reward after work, especially in the evening times. They are the killers. Evening times after work for most people. So, but there is a reason. That comfort food, that's an emotional, there is a feeling there is an emotion. What is comfort? Tranquility, calm, relaxation. That's what comfort means. So we can deal with that. And that's what we are going to do with hypnosis, not just with comfort. With all the emotional issues that are making the people to eat more than their body needs. Because at the end, what we are doing, or the people are doing, is just to eat more than their body needs. That's all, basically. And there are 3 things that are important for someone to lose weight. I'm not discovering the fire now, or whatever you say. It's basically to eat less, to do exercise, and to drink water can help. Even if you don't drink water, you could survive, and you could lose weight. But drinking water is always really good to lose weight. So, with those 3 things are going to be the base. Okay, let's do a little diagram. So,
just sorry, I'll just add to that on the water. If you can drink freezing cold water, always drink it with ice. It speeds up the metabolism a little bit as well, because when the body gets cold, it'll actually burn more energy to heat up again. So,
if it's too wet, I didn't know that.
Whenever you're drinking water, ice in it and keep it cold, keep it very, very cold.
So it's good to drink it warm instead
cold, freezing cold.
That's
cold as possible, yeah.
Okay.
But the counter-argument to that is if you drink it at body temperature, it goes through your liver and your kidneys quicker and flushes the toxins out.
But it has to get to body, it will get to body temperature by the time it gets there. I presume. Not an expert on it.
Well, as always, we could be very... We could be very picky about what kind of food and how to drink water and all that. But as I said before, some common sense, some balance, that's the most important thing. If someone is eating less and is exercising, even if he's drinking warm water or it's not cold is going to lose weight in 99% of the cases. Maybe one person that the metabolism is reacting in the opposite way, but it shouldn't be like that. So these three things are the most important things.
Also, in that interview I heard with McKenna, he said that research has shown that people who are overweight statistically walked the percentage was less than people who were the right weight. Like I said, if you can walk 20 minutes a day, which is good exercise, that's what combined with what you're eating, that's what you need.
And just walking 20 minutes alive, the statistics says that you can live 6 or 7 years longer because you strengthen your heart. So simple things can make a big difference.
But there's an embarrassment about going out if they're overweight. You know, everyone sees a fat person walking. And
it's a place in Kerry, Tralee, where I spend a lot of my time, I live there a lot of time, and they call it the fat smile. Why? Because all the fat ladies walk it.
Yeah. But there is
I don't like walking it.
Yes.
Go behind what they won't see.
Behind something bigger.
It's like,
I come behind the truck with the M50 to get to the town.
look, what I always recommend is that there are people who don't like walking or they don't like to go to the gym or exercise. Just to do simple things like parking your car farther from your job, or I don't know, going to stairs, simple things that you can incorporate in your daily life. Because there are people who don't like to exercise. However, if you want to lose weight, we don't do miracles. Sometimes we do, but not usually. It's important to follow simple things so we can help them to motivate, we can help them with self-esteem, because what we are going to find, okay, now, tell me all the reasons, all the emotional reasons. Now we have seen that the media might affect to make a decision. We have seen that the availability, there are more food now, different products. We have seen that education affects that the people are eating too much. But we have a choice there. Let's talk about the emotions, the feelings. What is making the people eat more than their body needs? So you can start throwing me all the things that you consider. What are the emotional reasons that made the people eat more? Before I heard comfort.
To distract from boredom or bad feelings of any kind. Maybe guilt.
eating late when you're tired and you eat more. I do.
Tiredness?
The time of day, if you, when I was growing up, it was breakfast, dinner was 1 o'clock, and tea was at 6 o'clock, and that was it.
So, what?
I mean, I could eat at 8 o'clock at night, a meal that I would eat in the middle of the day, and I just...
And why did you eat at 8?
Because I'm working.
Because you couldn't eat before?
Yeah, because I'm running.
Okay.
Running physically.
So it's time, it's a matter of time?
Yeah, time management, for me.
Okay, but in this case, not...
And I could either, I do it because it's pleasure. It started with kids were all in bed. I didn't want to have my dinner till I could sit and make a feast of it, enjoy it, pleasure. And I still do. And that's why I do it. I'm absolutely, it's not time. You know, I eat at 8 or 9 o'clock if I want to, well, I try to not do it at 9. But if I eat early, I'll probably get something else later to treat something nice.
Yes, but it's nice to have it as well. I mean, we came in on the plane late last night. We had an Indian takeaway at 9 o'clock last night. And we just felt.
And what is positive? What is positive about that habit? What is giving you when you order a takeaway? What is positive? What is the benefit?
Feels nice at the time.
Yeah.
Feels nice.
That's a good thing. Feels
It's
good.
not a regular thing.
It feels
That's not a regular thing.
Okay.
I read a book that's about why kids take it.
So-
It's always a feeling.
Okay, so it makes you feel good.
Yeah, but it's so fair that you need 3 meals a day. And
It's pleasurable.
You're tired, you're hungry.
Can you think of a time when you ate and you weren't hungry, personally? Can you think of...
Yeah.
Can,
I have seen it.
time she's upset, she goes straight to the fridge, and it's like it's cram it down, and it is literally to dampen down feelings.
Yeah.
Not just one, every day I see people that when they are. What was the word that you use when the person? What is the word that you just use now?
It's just to cram the feelings down. It's whatever dampen the feelings down.
Okay, when the person is feeling sad or is feeling
angry or whatever, it's just open fridge, cram.
Angry.
And like that is habit of a night, you sit down and watch television or whatever, and I'll go to the fridge again, what's there, it's just a habit.
But that habit, there is something positive, there is a benefit, because the habit is giving you something.
It's reward.
It might be a reward, so the habit is there, I agree that there is a habit, but there is a reason, something positive, there is a benefit that you are getting from that habit, and there is where I want to go, that emotion, that feeling, that is making you to open the fridge at 9 p.m. even if you are not hungry, because you might acknowledge that you are not hungry many times and you just eat because it's boredom, because you associate TV.
You don't know that in your conscious mind.
Your subconscious wants a sugar rush or wants some reward.
You don't know that in your conscious mind. You don't know the reason.
Okay, so you just do it automatic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Does it not really say, it makes you feel good, but does it not say back that then you feel guilty afterwards, that's the vicious circle now? Then you kind of think, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that, and then the next night you end up kind of doing it again, that kind of way, because it's negative
But
then.
you're not making that decision the next night.
It's negative.
As the man says, your conscious mind is the least informed and the last to know, so
It's subconscious that's doing it.
you don't
That's
know.
the thing, and then it's kind of a vicious circle of where you're kind of, the cake in the fridge has to be eaten.
It's why you have to go for the last biscuit.
If you feel bad about it, I think you're making it worse. I think if you eat it, you just enjoy the biscuit time,
It's time to eat now. So just think. Oof, there are chocolates there too. So think about the difference between eating emotionally and eating physically. There are two ways of eating, physically and emotionally. Physically is when your body needs your tummy. You might hear your tummy, the noise, and it builds up with time. However, emotional eating just comes automatic. It's something that, okay, I didn't know, 30 seconds ago, I didn't know that I was hungry. However, now I'm hungry. That's not physical eating. If you want to test yourself before eating anything, ask yourself, am I really hungry now? Do I really need the food? If your answer is not, is that there is an emotion, there is a feeling not there. So just recognize what is the feeling. Okay, see, if I'm not hungry, what is the benefit of this food that I'm eating now? Is it giving me relaxation? Is it giving me a break from my wife? Is it giving me a break from my children? What is it giving me? That food that is not helping me, that is not helping my body. So because that's something very important, and there is where we are going to work with people. Many people who are overweight or obese, there is an emotional issue. They are eating, obviously. If they were eating only when they are physically hungry, they wouldn't be overweight. Unless there is a metabolism dysfunction that I'm not going to go into that issue because that's not my area. So I like to focus on the emotional part. That's the hypnotist, we can do things there. So before anything, when you will see an obese or an overweight person, in many cases the people are going to know why they are overeating, but in many other cases they don't really know. So we have to help them to recognize when they are eating emotionally. So what can we do in these cases? Several things. I always work with two different programs for weight loss. One of the programs, I just help the people identify what are the particular issues that are helping them and that are making them to eat more than their body needs. It might be maybe a specific food, there is a specific food, maybe a kind of addiction to sugar, lacking exercise. So that will be one of the programs, just addressing particular issues. In all the cases, or nearly all the cases, the first thing that we should do is working with self-esteem and confidence. Because always, when the people come to see us, and when I talk about this, I feel upset because I'm just thinking about those people I see and I feel the pain of the people. They're confident, there is no confidence there, they don't want to do anything. They feel crap, and excuse my language, they feel so bad. So it's important just to help them to bring nice memories when they were feeling fit, when they were in control, whatever it is. Maybe they never felt in control of food, but they've been in control of the relationship, they've been in control of something. So all those kind of things is what we will do the first session, just bringing nice feelings, nice memories to that person. Usually, that first program, as I say, I don't believe in the one session program for weight loss. In many cases, it might work for 2 days, the person might feel good for 2 days, but usually the habit is going to kick in again. So we will need 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 sessions, minimum 3 sessions for weight loss, to work on self-esteem, ego strengthening, to work on what could be the cause that is making the person overeat, and in that case we might work on parts therapy. Have you heard about parts therapy? Okay, parts therapy, there are 2 concepts. If there is something that you haven't heard before, just ask me, because this is more about the technical part, how to work with the people who are overweight. To know what is the emotional part of the people, we can use parts therapy or 6 steps reframe. It's an NLP method that you have in your handouts. Parts therapy, basically the 2 methods are very similar. Parts therapy is longer, and what we do is to ask the person what is the benefit, what is to connect with the part of the person that is making them eat. When the person is in the hypnosis, we will ask the person, okay, so ask the part of you that is making you eat more than your body needs, what is the benefit that is giving you to make you eat more than you need? When the person tells you or contact with that overweight part, we will ask the person to contact or to connect with the creative part or the healthy part. Okay, so now that the overweight part has explained why it's making you eat more than you need, it might be to feel good with partners or to feel more confident, whatever it is, we will ask then the healthy part or the creative part. Okay, we will ask the person now, connect with the most creative part of you, that part of you that in the past has helped you to solve problems, to solve situations, and ask to create at least 5 or 10 alternatives that could give you the same benefit that the overweight part is giving you. So what we are doing is just help the people to create alternatives that could give you the same pleasure, that could give you the same reward, that could give you the same feelings when you are eating, same or better feelings, similar. So that's what we will do. And the 6 sorry, I'm thinking about sex already. So when so what we are doing with the 6 steps reframe will be to do something similar, but it's shorter, that method. You have it in your handouts, so you can work with that. It's very effective. So we will need 1 or 2 sessions.
I'm just wondering, how do you do the POTS therapy in an ecological way that doesn't make a person then fragmented into different POTS? Because sometimes they might like misunderstand and then, you know, kind of develop a sort of MPD sort of thing, where they're thinking, oh well, I'm made of so many different parts. How do you do it in a way that, you know, they stay as one person? They know that it's just...
That's a good question. Usually we have 2 parts. Because if you ask for many parts, you could make a parts party. So usually we just want to have 2 parts, and we will act as a mediators. We will go forth and back. So now the heavy part is saying this. What is the healthy part saying? We act as a mediation to get an agreement between the 2 parts. I agree with you, and what I do, I usually work with the 6 steps reframe, because you don't need to mediate. The person just says everything, because sometimes can get a conflict there, and it's difficult to get an agreement. You might have to call the higher power just to get an agreement and to get a little bit mess. So the 6 steps reframe is very effective that you have in your handouts. So I would recommend you, look, let's have a look now, how we can discover what is the emotional part.